Addicted.
Addiction.
Oh, addiction. Oh, joy. Joy is addiction. Addiction. Yeah.
Well,
Because
it's
you're always
it is in
chasing
a way.
that. You're
I
always
guess it
chasing
is
a
in a way.
high. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And
in
never
a way.
satisfied with the present moment.
Well, no. It's not the. It's not that. It's once you experience what joy really is, that's what you seek. It's not that you're seeking something higher. You're seeking that one.
Well, right, that one
Right.
thing. And
Yeah.
so, but
Yeah,
yeah,
you're not seeking
with
anything
addiction,
beyond that.
you're always going for, you know, you're never satisfied with where you are now because you could always feel better. But yeah, I see what you're saying with that.
You're so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good. That's what.
So heavily what?
Minded, if you know, people talk about pious, being, seeking God, talking about God, sharing God, but somebody who's just constantly is not, well, the Bible says we're not of this world, we're of the heavenly world, and heaven's our home. And, but the phrase is somebody who gets in that mode of not being able to relate to, because it seems like they're coming up here, godly, religious it is.
Mm-hmm.
They say you're so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you're not really able to share in earth where you're supposed to, because you always, but then we're supposed to. And what was it? C.S. Lewis had something too. He said, seek, I forget what, he had a good term for seeking earthly, and you'll get earthly pleasures. Seek heavenly pleasures and you'll get both. Something like that, C.S. Lewis. You used to read him, didn't you? You read C.S. Lewis a long time ago?
I think I read the Screw Tape Letters.
Did you?
The fiction,
I can't get through those things.
a long time ago.
Screw Tape Letters.
Letters, yeah.
Your mind has to be kind of turned around. Think about that, the way he writes about that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, you gave me one of his books. I read a couple of the first chapters.
Yeah, Mere Christianity, you got that one.
Yeah, but I can't remember. I'd asked you a question and you gave me the book, but I can't remember what the question was or what it was about.
That was that's his very favorite. Those are articles he gave during the war on radio. Those are things that he wrote, and somebody told me I ought to put them in a book during World War II. Anyway, a lot of people were comforted by it.
Did you ever listen to him? Find the original recordings?
No, I didn't. I don't know if they exist or not, but he put them down in
It's
the book.
probably
See it?
BBC.
Have they got them?
It's probably in the archives. I mean, they existed back then.
You might look for them, but no, it's Mere Christianity is what he wrote them down. He had them written down.
But you said he went on the radio and read them.
Yeah, but he read the stories of what he put them in chapters in his book.
Right, but that'd be neat to hear, like his original.
Oh, to hear his,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That'd be neat. That's interesting, yeah, because I've done that in my history books, like, the Pilgrims coming over, everything. I got, I can't remember, the governors wrote a book, they got diaries, and Lewis and Clark, I got both of their diaries.
Mm-hmm.
I got Columbus's diary, what they have of his writings, actual writings.
Maybe you should write a diary.
For who and for what?
Orthopedic medicine.
Orthopedic medicine, yeah.
It's been quite a journey, don't you think?
That's a long time ago.
What's the most fascinating thing you ever learned in orthopedic medicine?
What's the most exciting?
Yeah, and fascinating, or just like, whoa, really? Like that.
Everything was so fascinating. Arthroscopy, when I learned that when I was a resident, I'm gonna show a picture of my first arthroscopy experience is looking through a scope, you know.
Yeah.
Looking with my eyeball like that's where you just look with the eyeball like that. And I got a picture of me like that, looking from the side or something. Got my hat on, all taped up, so I won't get anything contaminated. And that was pretty exciting because I was a resident, and Dr. Nelson, the professor, head of orthopedics, I was on pathology rotation. We have 3 months of pathology. And he brought this scope to us. Rob, he said, Bob, he says, you know, we're supposed to do something with it. I don't know what you do with it. How about find out? That's how I learned.
Wow.
And so I started looking at the literature and reading, and anyway, so I started the VA. I'd go to the VA, and every time they'd have a knee to do, which was quite often, I would put a scope in to see what I'm supposed to do, to see and everything. I didn't have any really instruction other than, one-on-one instruction. I more or less learned on what I read and what I heard and so forth. And so that's how I got started with that. Did quite a bit because I wrote an article on it, and it was in the State Journal, and we did a display, exhibit kind of on arthroscopy. I had these beautiful pictures which you look through, because I had a handheld camera. That was the other thing I had to be careful with, because it would just slip on the end. It would contaminate the end, but I take pictures. I'm gonna put a picture of that on
What year was that? About years?
75 or something like that.
What?
75.
75.
Yeah,
Wow.
50 years ago. 50, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But and the thing about it, and part of my talk is going to be mentioning the things of orthopedics coming through. I'm going to mention that Dr. Fellows and I came through, quote, cutting edge.
Mm-hmm.
But then everybody feels like they're going through cutting edge. So, you know,
Well,
so it's a feeling that everybody has because everything's changing so
yeah,
often.
right.
But the basic things that we got in the base, like arthroscopy, when we started that, and I came here, most people thought it never worked, including orthopedists. They said that's just a gimmick, you know. And then started using it. Our hospital wouldn't even buy us any because the cameras were coming out. They wouldn't buy anything, and so Paul and I bought about $15,000 worth of instruments, which doesn't sound like much, but at that time, $15,000 50 years ago was quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And little instruments, and we had them in a suitcase. And I'd go to the administrators. I went to Thomas Hospital, and we can't afford it to get all this equipment you want in. I went to an infirmary head. I went to the South Alabama. I went to Providence. Went to all the hospitals that were the large hospitals who could do something about it. They ended up going to in Mobile, women. It was called Women's and Children's Hospital. I think now I don't know what it was called then. It may have been called just. Anyway, what I do is go down and tell them my spiel about arthroscopy and what's about. It's coming on, and we're you need to get on board because everybody's going to be doing it. Of course, nobody was doing it. It's a sale pitch. And I'd open up the things, show them the little instruments we already had, and things like that. Kind of neat. And finally, Women and Children says, "Okay, we'll do it," and they got all the equipment for the camera and the monitor. And we used to, when I started out, we used to get big old 3-liter bags of saline to run through the knee to, puff up knee.
Oh.
But I had to gravity change. Now they just got pumps that go through there. Anyway,
Air pumps or saline pumps?
They're pumps. No, saline. They pump saline.
It's still saline.
In other words, you don't have to. The nurses were constantly pulling that down, or having to available and changing saline thing. It was something. It was. Anyway, so they finally did at Women and Children, and sure enough, of course, Paul and I took our patients over there. the doctors started coming to women and children. Then all of a sudden, the other hospitals said, "Wait, what's going on?" And pretty soon, all the hospitals had it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, were you a sales rep through the arthroscopic equipment, or no? You just did it because you wanted to do it.
I was an orthopedic surgeon going around trying to get this started. The
Wow.
arthroscopy. Yeah.
They should have hired you as a sales rep.
Yeah. That was my.
Yeah.
So that you're asking which one thing that really I got excited about. That's one thing, because I learned it. You might say not before anybody else knew it, because it was coming along, but before anybody else really thought it was worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's the only thing everybody does.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
they just open it.
Austin.
But anything, and
Austin.
Sir John Charlie,
Austin.
Sir John Charlie in England gave us a template, so to speak, of total joints, and that was really new for us, and we were able to introduce it to Baldwin County and all that. Start doing total joints. And I'm just thinking everything we did was just like a new thing. But
So I went to a friend's house yesterday, and their dog was having hip issues a while ago, and instead of doing a total hip, they cut the whole femoral head off,
yeah,
and then they did it to the next leg, and the dog's been fine.
well, that's what it takes the pain away from the hips, and it just heals the scar tissue. But they're not as active, and they won't be able to, be around. But it takes. It's called. We used to do it in humans.
Really?
Yeah. What's that? There's a name for it. Gerblestone. Gerblestone was named Dr. Gerblestone. When you got a severe, and they used to do it for severe degenerative arthritis, because there wasn't any other procedure we could do at that time. Implants go back a long time. They used to go, I forget how far, hundreds of years, used to try putting ivory balls inside of the hip. Make that work, take out the old hip. But, anesthesia didn't come into like the 18, after the Civil War, whenever that was. And anyway, it's just interesting, yeah. So everything that was done without anesthesia, whether surgery, whatever, I'm sure they had some hypnotics or something that they used. Whiskey, bite on this bullet,
Ricky.
bite on this bullet.
Huh.
But anyway, so those are, let's see. And
But that was a significant breakthrough, because you had these breakthroughs like that, and that seems like that was a breakthrough. Then it just kind of evolves over the years, and they just refine it.
What?
And then there's like another break, like orthopedics. Arthroscopic.
oh yeah,
Was like that was a breakthrough. Like that was doing something completely different, and then
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
evolved
yeah.
to and refined it. And then there's I guess whatever else you would consider another big breakthrough
Yeah.
that shifted
That's
everything.
a breakthrough, and the template total joints was a breakthrough that John, Sir John Charlie. Yeah, he was knighted
Oh wow.
by the Queen. Yeah, his was a breakthrough because although we'd been doing hip surgery and replacements of sorts, nothing ever worked, and until he came along and gave the principles of how to put things together and what materials and so forth. And so that was really a breakthrough, and that really gave us, that's what we are today. I've got a picture with Joey Carter. I told you about that, didn't I? Sent me a picture last summer. Said, this is a patient of yours. Came in today for another problem. But just thought you'd be interested in seeing it. It was total knees that I put in both sides 30 years ago.
Wow.
And they were just like I'd put them in, just straight and
Wow.
looking
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Huh.
It's a life changer.
But that's something that only after you retire and you get back, look back and say, hey, your patients, you see things like that, because most of those, you'll have some loosening or something in 20 years, 15, 20 years or so. But anyway, the procedure is so good. and it's getting more refined even today, that the longevity is longer and longer, you know. You don't think about if you have to have a total hip, just get a total hip, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as you get older, in your 70s or so forth. If it's gonna last longer in your life, it's well worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, looking at the pictures of the people with the club feet, you know?
Yeah,
Because that's like a complete life changer.
well, that was,
Because they can
Ponce.
work and make money and, you know.
The life changing of that was that we were doing, and I did some of those surgically corrections, and you get immediate correction, put them in cast in there. But then what you've done is gone in and you had to cut all those ligaments to get it rearranged, to get the foot in proper order, that when it heals with scar tissue.
Mm-hmm.
It's never as pliable, and the foot is always stiff. Let's say 15, 20 years later, and it's just never. But then again, that's what we had, and for the most part, say 50%, it seemed to do well, real well. And but when Ponseti came along in the say the 60s, and developed this technique, because other people were developing it, but they never could get it to work until Ponseti's method came along, and he found out they were doing the wrong manipulations, pushing on the wrong bones, doing the wrong procedures, that they just recurred, they just wouldn't work properly until Ponseti gave the step-by-step procedure about how to do it.
Mm.
And he found out the key to it and so forth.
Wow. Yeah.
That's what you were studying in Pensacola?
Went to Pensacola, and then I went to Iowa.
To where?
Iowa.
Iowa.
That's where Dr. Ponseti's office was.
Oh.
I went to his office. He had died about 5 years previously, but I went there for about a couple weeks with the head. Was Dr. Morquindi, what was his not Jose, Morquindi is his name, is head of the. Anyway, so I spent time with him too. That's where I learned it well. But the guy in Pensacola was doing it real well too. He was. Yeah, I went 3 months over there because he only did every Wednesday.
Yeah, we'd go to McGuire's.
Yeah. I'd come over there when I was 70-something. When
You were spending the night sometimes too,
I was like,
I think, in our apartment.
Well, we've been there 11 years. And in that house, we've been in that house for 9 years.
yeah.
But no, he was going to the apartment.
Oh, the
To
condo?
the condo, yeah.
Really? Huh?
Going where?
To the condo we had.
Before we bought our house.
Oh yeah. Oh, that little on East Street, or no? Where was that on?
Yeah, Spring
Jackson, Spring and Jackson.
That was so neat. Y'all were. Mom and I got y'all that, talked you into.
Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because y'all were in Lake Worth and couldn't come or something, and we looked around. We found out. I said, "Man, wouldn't Rob and Elizabeth love this?" And Mom agreed, and it was kind of looked like it was kind of narrow and going up. As you go in, you have to go up the stairs, but it was just a neat. I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was a neat part of town. It was in the eastern part of town, and a little street. And just, yeah.
Y'all looked at some houses for us too.
Yeah. We looked all around, had fun. But and I was talking about the other day. I was over at Paul's and talking with Floor, because one of the pictures I have
She's gonna jump right on
of doing mission surgery was the last surgery I did is a picture of Floor sitting on one side, me sitting on the other side in Ecuador. I was 75, I think. That was my last surgery. I was doing the Dupuytren retraction of the hand.
her. Mm-hmm.
And I just had the hand wide open, just like we usually do. Had it pulled back, and you take out the scar tissue, just take it out, then close it up. But anyway, I was thinking about that. That was my last, actually, orthopedic surgery I did in a surgical suite. I was about 75 then, I guess 9 years ago. in Ecuador. And did some club feet down there, Ponseti's. After I learned Ponseti's, I mean, that was the only way. That's the quote gold standard. Matter of fact, I got to talk together, gave it to the residents 2 years ago, I think, because they don't get Pine City lectures very often.
Mm-hmm.
They have 2 pediatric orthopedists, so they hear about it and so forth. And I give them a couple lectures over there on Club
Where?
Fair. South
Oh,
Alabama,
mm-hmm.
orthopedic residents.
Mm-hmm.
But the last one I gave was about 2 years, so I was 82 with the last lecture I gave. Anyway, so it's getting that way. I'm just thinking about, I still have my medical license, but I may let it go this year.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I may just, I have it because work at Hope Center, you know, I have to have a medical license.
Mm. Well, what is it? How hard is it just to keep it?
Well, you have to maintain what's called CMEs, you know, our instructions.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep your medical license, it can be in general medicine, doesn't have to be
Yeah.
in orthopedics. But most of mine is orthopedics. And I'll get 30 or 40. You have to keep 25 hours a year
Mm-hmm.
to maintain, and then you have, with 1 hour of opioid instruction.
Hmm.
And
But you want to, but then you can still write prescriptions, right?
you can write prescriptions. You can't write opioid prescriptions unless you have an opioid, what's DEA, the Department of, anyway, it's the Narcotics Division.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have you have to have you have to pay for for a national, federal narcotics license, and then they get you have to pay a state license.
Wow.
And then you pay of course you pay for your medical license too. And so I've maintained that so far, but I don't know if I'm gonna.
Well, you like to be able to write prescriptions, right? But not for opioids. You don't need them.
You can write prescriptions, just a medical license.
Yeah.
And like antibiotics and things like that, as long as it's not opioid
Mhm.
or narcotic related. The schedules are narcotics.
But you don't really write. Do you write a lot for narcotics anymore? Anyway. Yeah.
No, very seldom use it. Very seldom.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But